Ever since Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi was released in 1983, fans have had an abiding and quite frankly pretty horrifying question. Nope, it's not did the Ewoks eat all the dead Imperials after the Battle of Endor, or how did Han react when he realised Leia made out with her own brother. It's the question of whether Jabba the Hutt, the gigantic slug-like Tatooine crime lord, ever had sex with Princess Leia while she was his captive. When Leia is captured after trying to free Han Solo from carbonite, Jabba takes her as his slave, forcing her to wear that iconic golden skimpy bikini. It certainly was a look that awakened something in many young men back in the 80s. But the question of whether Jabba actually had sex with Leia is a good one. After all, why would he have such a beautiful slave dressed in such an alluring way if he wasn't going to have a little fun with her every now and then? He could have had her killed in any manner of ways, but no, he kept her around for his own pleasure. The argument for him finding her attractive and even engaging in sexual activity starts when Leia is first apprehended and brought to him. Jabba sticks out his tongue as if to kiss or lick Leia. A gross act, I'm sure you'll agree. It's almost like a repulsive sign of dominance, showing her that he can take what he wants, even if the thing he wants is of a sexual nature. Then of course there is the golden bikini itself. It showed plenty of flesh and allowed for, easy access, shall we say. If Jabba so wanted to, he could easily remove what few items covered her body. This was the same for all of Jabba's slaves, by the way. For example, take a look at Twi'lek Ola. She wore an equally skimpy and revealing outfit. The Hutt definitely liked that look. Another argument for Jabba having engaged in some kind of sexual activity is how he strokes his tail up and down her body and caresses her hair as she is sat alongside him on his throne. And without going into too much detail, there were definitely ways and means in which Jabba could engage in some kind of sexual contact or activity with Leia, even as he was just laid there. He could have also had sex with, violated and degraded Princess Leia as a show of dominance to his enemies. It put out a strong message: try to steal from Jabba and he will take his revenge. That revenge might be getting fed to the Rancor, or thrown into the Sarlacc, or chained to him as his sex slave. He's a powerful and unscrupulous Hutt, and he will do whatever he wants to take revenge and show power and dominance. People who were present at the palace would see him doing whatever he might have done with Princess Leia, and that info might have spread around the planet and even further. Jabba had a reputation as a powerful gangster and crime lord to maintain, and if that was the way he had to do it, then so be it. Okay, so we've looked at some of the compelling reasons that Jabba may have had sex with Princess Leia, but let's move on to the opposing arguments. Actually, it's more of one single argument, but trust us, it's a good one. You see, Jabba the Hutt, and all Hutts for that matter, are asexual. That means they are not sexually attracted to anyone. They can also reproduce without the need for anyone else. For example, Jabba has a son, Rotta, but he is Jabba's and Jabba's alone. Hutts have no particular sex organs to speak of, and if they did, their asexuality means they have no want or need to use them. Hutts could of course appreciate good looks and understand why certain things would be considered attractive or even sexy, but they lack the will to actually be aroused and want to engage in any sort of sexual activity. And even if he did want to have sex with Leia, it would be a physical impossibility. Jabba was a large and gluttonous creature, and very rarely moved from his throne. He was bulky and fat, even for a Hutt. There was no way of revealing what could be considered his sexual organs to Leia, as they were located on the underside of his massive body. Of course, there were other things he could do to her. We'll leave that to your imagination, but he would get little sexual pleasure from it. And then again, we come back to the fact that because of his asexuality, Jabba straight up wouldn't be aroused to do anything like that. So, on balance, we think we've come up with a pretty solid answer. No, Jabba did not have sex with Princess Leia. He did, however, use her as a trophy and enjoyed showing her off to those in his palace who were able to have sex with her. It was a kind of signal to others that he can and would take what he wanted. The insinuation of sex and planting that horrifying idea into the heads of people was more potent than the actual act itself. Having Princess Leia chained to him while she wore nothing but that gold bikini was more of a power move than anything else. He didn't find her sexually attractive, but he knew that others did. And by showing them that he was the one to own such a desirable creature and not them, it gave him an obvious advantage over his opponents, right off of the bat. Jabba liked to show his strength and flex his power, and this was just one of the ways he did so. He might not have had sex with Leia, but he certainly found ways to degrade her and still make her feel like she had been used and abused. Gross, we know. So there you have it, the answer as to whether Jabba the Hutt ever had sex with Princess Leia. What do you think of our conclusion? Do you agree with our points about these two incredible characters, or have you come to a different conclusion? We'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions, so drop them down below in the comments section. Thanks for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.